Barring any trades, the Cleveland Browns will select 26th on Thursday night. That will be their lowest first-round pick, Chad, since 1995.
Yeah, and that wasn't a good one. If you remember, the Browns traded back to get Craig Powell from Ohio State that year. He played just 3 games in Cleveland before the entire team moved to Baltimore. But General Manager Andrew Berry says he's prepared for everything, picking at 26, trading up, or perhaps trading back.
This year, the Browns seem to be focused on the defensive side of the ball. In fact, they've already spent more than $60 million on 6 free agents this offseason. The defense will be better, of course, but they still have some needs at certain positions.
Yeah, I think they're looking at linebacker, defensive back, and also interior defensive linemen. And there will be plenty of great options in round number 1, that's for sure.
So let's get started with linebacker. There are 3 big names with first-round grades. We assume Micah Parsons from Penn State will be long gone by pick number 26, but there are a couple other guys that are very interesting, including one from Notre Dame, Chad, that many draft experts have the Browns taking or even trading up to get in the first round.
Now, if linebacker is the choice, that choice could very well be Notre Dame's Jeremiah OWUSU-KORAMOAH. He piled up nearly 25 tackles for loss the last 2 seasons with the Irish. As a junior, he won the Butkus Award as the country's top linebacker. He earned all-conference honors after piling up 11 tackles for loss and 3 forced fumbles last season. Another linebacker who would fit the bill in Cleveland is ZAVEN of Tulsa. He was a unanimous All-American and winner of the Bronco Nagurski Trophy, which is given to the best defensive player in college football. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighs 260 pounds. In 8 games last season, he tallied 4 sacks, 4 picks, 2 of which he returned for touchdowns, a couple of forced fumbles, a safety, and a fumble recovery. Pretty good resume.
Not bad. Browns have also parted ways with some of their interior defensive linemen. Larry Ogunjobi and Sheldon Richardson have left some big holes at defensive tackle, so that may be a target group for the Browns as well on Thursday. And there's a couple of good ones in the draft pool. Christian Barmore from Alabama, the highest rated, 6'5", 310 pounds, big-time pass rusher from the inside. He had a team-high 8 sacks for the Crimson Tide last year as a sophomore. He was a big part of their win in the national championship, too. If this guy's around at 26, I think he's the obvious pick for Cleveland on Thursday nights.
Another name to keep your eye on as the draft progresses is Washington defensive lineman LEVI ONWUZURIKE. He opted out of last season due to the pandemic, but he does a little bit of everything. His great strength for his size, and he was one of the most explosive defensive linemen on all of the West Coast in 2019. He makes it a habit of disrupting plays, and he gets off the ball very quickly.
Defensive back, another position we could see the Browns using on that first-round pick. They did add Troy Hill in free agency, but there are some outstanding DBs in this year's draft that will be hard to pass up. We assume guys like Patrick Surtain from Alabama, J.C. Horn from South Carolina will be taken early. But they're not the only impact players on the board, Chad.
No doubt. Guys like Northwestern's Greg Newsome, who's considered one of the top cornerback prospects in all of the draft. He led the Big Ten in pass breakups despite playing in only 6 games. This past season, he allowed just 1 single completion of more than 10 yards downfield while he was covering. Another name to watch, Virginia Tech cornerback Caleb Farley. Now, he's loaded with talent, but also one of the biggest question marks in the draft. That's because he's battled a back injury each of the last 2 years. He's had 2 surgeries since the last time he played in 2019, which could cause him to slide. In 23 games over a couple of seasons at Tech, Farley had 6 picks in that time period.
And certainly last but not least, Asante Samuel Jr. from Florida State, a player to keep your eyes on. He led the Seminoles defense in interceptions and pass breakups this past season. There have been questions about his size. He's only 5'10", 185, but he's been one of the best defenders in the ACC the past few seasons, and his dad knows a little something about playing football in the NFL. We'll find out officially on Thursday night. Round 1 of the NFL Draft will kick off at 8 p.m. in Cleveland. We'll have complete coverage and analysis live streaming all night at WKBN.com.